state's latest snow survey confirms a blockbuster year for snow in the Sierra. The statewide number, 237% of normal, is one of the largest in years. But as KTVU's Mark Sayer tells us, concern is already turning to what happens when all of the snow melts, as well as the next drought.
The official Sierra snowpack measurements are taken at Phillips Station along Highway 50 south of Lake Tahoe near Echo Summit. And when the readings were taken and the numbers were in,
126.
More than 10.5 feet of snow at this location. The last time that amount of snow was measured across the Sierra was 1952, when Harry Truman was president. In a news conference, state water officials say the amount of snowpack is unprecedented and has made a huge impact on the drought.
So Christmas 2022, just to remind you, heading into year 4 of a drought and just about done with the first quarter of the water year. And things were looking pretty grim. Boy, have things changed in the second quarter. And we see that footprint. A lot of those storms are really running that track between San Francisco Bay and San Diego.
This graphic tells the story. On a statewide basis, you can see 1952 on the left, with more recent records set in 1969 and 1983 also easily being surpassed this year. And the high snowpack has already resulted in good news for local water suppliers. 2 big Central Valley water systems, one run by the Federal Bureau of Reclamation and the other by the California Department of Water Resources, bring water from distant reservoirs, which collect all of this runoff to the Bay Area.
Yeah, it's incredible to see that snowpack up there, because that means water into our statewide reservoirs, which is a big deal for our water supply here in Santa Clara County. We get a lot of our water, we call it imported water, that comes from outside of our county. Matt
Keller with Valley Water, which is a water wholesaler in the South Bay, says outside water allocations have gone from 0 in some cases to 100% from the feds for residential uses. But that does not mean conservation efforts are over.
So we've got to be prepared for the possibility that another drought is right around the corner. In fact, that's the reality. Another one will be coming.
And some of the massive Sierra snowpack will eventually end up in what is called a percolation pond like this one. From here, the water seeps down into underground aquifers where it is stored for future use.
The aquifer underneath our feet is as much water as all of our above ground reservoirs here in Santa Clara County.
But now the concern in the Sierra Range turns to runoff, which state officials fear could heavily impact agriculture in the Central Valley. But exactly when that happens depends more on the amount of direct sunlight rather than just the air temperature.
What really drives snowmelt is the radiation from the sun, the solar radiation, onto the snowpack, which obviously happens more often when it's warmer out.
It's possible when the final numbers are in, we'll actually exceed that 1952 record. That's because Sierra snowpack is measured at different locations, and some of those locations have simply been unreachable due to the snow. Reporting in San Jose, I'm Mark Sayer, KTVU Fox 2 News.